Hi, I'm Terry McDermott, curator of the Wilmington Town Museum. And like all town buildings, the museum is closed, and I am hunkered down at home with my family. But I'm always interested in historical perspectives on things, so I thought I would share with you what I'm reading right now: local reports of the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918. Specifically, I wondered how Wilmington was affected. It's all available online, and much of it through the library. First, I looked at the Boston Globe archives from 1918. Any Boston Globe subscriber has online access to these archives, but you can also view them for free on the Boston Public Library website if you register for an e-card. An e-card is free to all residents of Massachusetts. The 1918 flu epidemic was more like today's epidemic than I realized. In the beginning, the new Spanish influenza was first a European problem, but by late summer of 1918, it was becoming an issue closer to home. Officials assured people at first that would not be a big problem. Still, experts began to discourage the assembling of large crowds, told people to wash their hands, cover their face with a handkerchief in public, and stay home if they were sick. Soon, the paper had daily reports from experts citing statistics of infection and death. Health officials begged nurses to work in hospitals with flu patients, first recruiting locally, then calling for help from out of state. Temporary hospitals were built, especially tent hospitals. And hospitals banned visitors. Some even refused patients when they thought they were too full. Individual cities closed down their schools, theaters, libraries, churches as they saw fit, but eventually the state asked all cities and towns to do the same. It seems most businesses stayed open unless too many employees were sick to be able to work. Closure notices were originally for a week or 10 days, but were extended several times so that they lasted about 3 weeks for most areas. But what was happening in Wilmington? With no local newspaper, the annual reports are the best source of information from that time. You can read these reports on the Wilmington Memorial Library's website. So the annual report tells me that Wilmington closed the schools for 3 weeks, presumably the same time the state was requesting it. The report implies this was quite a burden on the teachers, but that they succeeded in keeping the students on schedule by giving them extra work when they were back in school. There's no reference to the burden this placed on the students themselves. The library closed for 2 weeks in October because of the epidemic, but no other information is provided. And in a town where the Board of Health's infectious disease reports usually cite a handful of cases of any one disease in any given year, 363 cases of influenza were reported in town in 1918. 16 Wilmington people died of pneumonia that year. Like COVID-19, pneumonia often followed flu cases and was often fatal. Interestingly, only 2 people are recorded as dying from influenza in 1918. By 1919, no flu cases are reported by the Board of Health, although 8 people died of pneumonia, 1 person died of influenza, and 1 died of the grip, which was frequently used as another word for influenza. That's all the information provided in our annual report. Not a lot of detail, but it was clearly an issue in town. Reading old annual reports can be fascinating if you're interested in town history. I highly recommend you check out this source on the library's website. To read Wilmington's annual reports, just click on the Local History tab on the homepage and select Local History books from the options. All of the annual reports are listed, going back to the 19th century. Click on any one to read it and see what was happening in town that year. So that's one of the things I've been looking at. Many aspects of Wilmington's history can be studied online. Although the museum is closed, I am still checking email, so feel free to shoot me a note if you have any questions about the Wilmington's history that I might be able to help you with. My email address is htavern@wilmingtonma.gov or can be found on the town's website. In the meantime, this is Terry McDermott saying thanks for watching and stay safe.